Now a word from our sponsors.
We are continuing to follow breaking news. The top cop in South suburban Dolton is facing a bankruptcy charge tonight, leading to new questions about who's in charge of the police department and whether the feds are closing in on the village's.
First, though, breaking news in the south suburbs. A federal indictment just announced against the former deputy police chief of Dolton. This is Lewis Lacey at a recent village board meeting. He's now charged with bankruptcy fraud. Lacey is accused of scheming to hide assets and income from creditors and trying to avoid paying a lawsuit settlement. He was fired as Dolton's deputy chief just last week. This comes as the village's finances are under investigation.
Dana and Ben, this is the second close ally of Dolton Mayor Tiffany Henyard to be indicted on federal bankruptcy fraud. And the lawyer tonight for Deputy Chief Lewis Lacey tells me this is all part of prosecutors' strategy to get them to turn on Henyard. The man at the helm of Dolton's police department, Deputy Chief Lewis Lacey, now facing federal charges.
It's a great day in Dolton. Justice is being served.
Lacey, an ally of Mayor Tiffany Henyard, is charged with bankruptcy fraud, making false statements, and perjury, accused of concealing his income and lying about his spouse's income to avoid paying more than $40,000 he owed in a lawsuit settlement, the case dating back to 2015. The indictment notes Lacey has filed for bankruptcy 7 times since the 1980s.
Oh! Somebody! Oh! He needs some milk!
I'm just so happy, because this man needs to be taken off the street. He does not need a gun or anything.
That one there was a violation. Personally, I wouldn't have it.
Those who've been pushing back against the Henyard administration are celebrating the charges, but Lacey's lawyer calls them a witch hunt.
They're trying to find people that will shy away and cooperate with them against the mayor.
Lacey is the second Henyard ally to face a bankruptcy fraud charge. Village Administrator Keith Freeman pleaded not guilty. He's now cooperating with the village trustees who are investigating the mayor, and some believe him to be a whistleblower as well.
They start with people that they believe that they can flip. They go down the line. They show up at 6 o'clock in the morning when a person is not lawyered up, when a person is just waking up, and they're telling you, oh, I'm here to talk to you and be nice to you and don't worry about it. And you're not under arrest. And then we're going to leave and we're not going to arrest you today. But here are some questions that we have for you. So immediately a person puts his foot in the mouth and from there, the fish is caught.
Is that what they did with Lacey?
To a certain degree, yes.
The indictment is separate from former Chicago Mayor Lori Lightfoot's findings that Lacey was paid more than $200,000 in overtime in the last few years, despite not being eligible to receive OT.
With all due respect to Lightfoot, it was her conclusion. She is nobody. She's just the person that came out with a conclusion, and the village is taking it as if it was the scripture.
Yeah, that's it, ticket.
The village fired the deputy chief last week after placing him on leave. We're told he showed up to work even after receiving his notice of termination.
There was a deputy chief that was placed on administrative leave. He disregarded that and showed up the very next day. He then received a notice that he was terminated, and he despite being notified that he was terminated and in discussions with the Fraternal Order of Police, the FOP, he again showed up today. Once again, the mayor has changed the locks at the Village Hall. Everyone recall how orderly and how nice it was to walk into the village board meeting on Monday night when the Madam Clerk and the trustees had key fobs to get into the village. Once again, this is about the 3rd time that she has changed the locks, so the elected officials do not have access and cannot get into the village hall.
There are some good people working for the police department in Dolton. My wife and I have met a couple of them, and I hope the powers that be will allow one of the good ones to fill the space.
The community already looking ahead to where this indictment may lead.
We got to take the rest of the trash out.
Lacey indicted on bankruptcy fraud charges. He's accused of concealing his income from creditors, filing misleading statements as they sought to recoup nearly $90,000 in unpaid debts, this all dating back to 2015. He's also charged with making false statements and perjury. Lacey is a close ally of Dolton Mayor Tiffany Henyard, the second one to be indicted on bankruptcy fraud. Henyard ally Keith Freeman faces the same charge, and we're told he is now cooperating with the trustees who were investigating Henyard, and some believe him to be a whistleblower. I spoke this afternoon with Lacey's attorney. He called today's charges a witch hunt designed to get another Henyard ally to turn on her in this ongoing investigation into her spending.
It's really him. It's really him. You're a victim. There we go, CSI.
That's exactly what the U.S. attorney does every single time. They start with people that they believe that they can flip. They go down the line. They show up at 6 o'clock in the morning when a person is not lawyered up, when a person is just waking up, and they're telling you, oh, I'm here to talk to you and be nice to you and don't worry about it. And you're not under arrest. And then we're going to leave and we're not going to arrest you today. But here are some questions that we have for you. So immediately a person puts his foot in the mouth and from there, the fish is caught.
You're going to jail. You're going to jail.
Lacey's employment status here in Dolton a bit cloudy right now. Last week, the trustees placed him on paid administrative leave. He told me he was continuing to show up to work after that because they didn't have the power to put him on leave. The village then sent him a termination letter, and I'm told he kept showing up even after his firing. Lacey's lawyer says he will surrender in court at a date yet to be determined, and he plans to plead not guilty.
So let's recap here. This is a bombshell that reveals some serious problems in the leadership and the oversight within this village. Lacey has been hit with 9 federal charges, including bankruptcy fraud, making false statements, and perjury. This guy is supposed to be upholding the law, and he's just manipulating the system for personal gain. We will no longer hear Lacey threatening to clear the room anymore.
One more disruption, I am clearing the room. Quiet, otherwise we are going to clear the room. Okay? One more word, we're going to clear the room. I'm clearing the room. One more time, I'm clearing the room.
Point of wasting my time.
If you don't calm down, I'm going to clear the room. Okay, last time I'm going to say it.
And now back to your regularly scheduled program.